Continuation. Hello, well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it has begun. What I warned you about has started. And after watching this video, especially those of you who are visiting my channel for the first time, well, I'm sure that during the video or by the end, you'll definitely subscribe and leave a like. Why? Because all my predictions are starting to come true, and everything I've been advocating for several years before Donald Trump was elected is happening. And even the most clueless people are starting to see the troubles and the misery that the Democrats have caused, not just in America, but all over the world, and especially in Ukraine. But I want to focus specifically on this United States Agency for International Development Fund, which I've talked a lot about over the past week. What did Elon Musk and other Americans publish yesterday, and how much did they share? Well, just imagine, they even funded a laboratory that was developing COVID. Not that, just to be clear, the virus itself was developed by the Chinese. It's a Chinese virus. But even there, American money made its way. How is that possible? How is that possible? I'll tell you, Democrats like Biden, Kamala Harris, and the word itself is corrupted because in the classical sense, liberals and Democrats mean something completely different. The Democratic Party in the United States are leftists, and those haters who have hated on me for years for supporting Musk and Trump, they probably still haven't understood that I didn't just pick some people to side with. No, I share the same views on life and the same ideology. And for those who don't know, Elon Musk used to support the Democratic Party for years, in case you didn't know. Tulsi Gabbard was also a star of the United States Democratic Party, and Kennedy Jr. was a member of the United States Democratic Party. Everything has changed in recent years, changed a lot. They funded Ukrainian media with enormous amounts of money. And what happened? The very thing I have a whole video about. There are more than 500,000 views on the channel. The same thing Tucker Carlson talked about. The scoundrels joined forces with the powerful against the powerless. All these people getting grants in Ukraine for these dumb little YouTube channels, these investigative media, so-called anti-corruption fighters, they actually joined the powerful. Who are the powerful? The authorities, the security services, those who, if they really want to, or even if they don't want to try too hard, can crush an ordinary Ukrainian citizen. The judicial system is part of this, the cops are part of this, everyone is included, even though everything was declared in this fund. Fighting corruption, promoting democracy. No, it was supposed to be about promoting democracy. That would be the case if media platforms were funded, and for example, people like me were invited to those media platforms. People who have clashed with the government, people who have faced restrictions on freedom of speech, political prisoners who, unfortunately, we have. None of these issues are discussed there. They just go around in circles over and over for years. Why? Because in reality, the swamp that Ukraine has turned into is exactly the fertile ground for them to siphon off that money. And for years, they just feed people nonsense, not talking about anything real, just making sure they keep their jobs. And what the hell for? These people, this media crowd, call themselves free media. Now they go out and shout everywhere that they were free media. Now they're not. What kind of free media are you? And they say independent, independent. What kind of independent are you? Independent media, that's why they're called independent. Because it is able to earn for itself, to provide for itself, at worst to break even, at least to reach zero. You are not capable of any of this. You are only capable of getting free leftist money and spending it. I don't want to say the word steal, although who knows, and nothing else. And this is indirect destruction of Ukraine because money was allocated supposedly for tasks that were not carried out. And the other side, the Democrats, were quite satisfied with this. Why? Because they didn't need democracy in Ukraine. They didn't need a successful Ukraine. They had their own goals, and it must be admitted, they achieved them. And everyone who received this money, they are simply accomplices. And everything is happening exactly as I predicted. Please take a look at a clip from the YouTube channel Diaspora UA, where I was invited to appear about 2 weeks before the United States presidential election. This mistake, though less severe and more civilized, happened when Trump won before. No one in Ukraine expected him to win, and propaganda portrayed him differently. Well, honestly, they made him out to be a monster, but in a pretty mild way. And then he just went and won, and our whole establishment was left speechless. How could that be, right? And I want Trump to win, to cut off funding for all this propaganda in Ukraine, because fighting against all of this alone is very difficult. I was still in Kyiv during the war, started speaking out on YouTube, and people looked at me like, well, why are you supporting Trump? No one understood. It's really hard. It's really hard. Nearly all of Ukraine, 99.9% of media, it's all pro-democratic, all against Trump, and there are no real arguments, just pure hate and pure propaganda. People read the press by headlines. They write a headline saying Trump did something, and no one clicks to read what actually happened. And then, more than once, I caught them making incorrect translations. You look at the original and it's not there. They twist it their own way. It's a major publication, the biggest one, which is under Soros, Ukrainian. That's why my audience is the best. That's why I consider my audience the smartest, or one of the smartest on all of YouTube. Because people here have chosen sides. There's one side, there's the other, and people have chosen the side that I'm on. And this has been going on for a long time with Trump, with Musk, with Javier Milei, and with others. Great statesmen and just public figures, simply great people who promote the right ideology. And now I want to warn you, because even among my smart audience, some have started to waver. Why? Because some senators and even other American public figures, quite influential ones, have started to go public and promote the following narrative, which sounds something like this. I think it was in 2012 or 2013 when Putin banned the activities of United States Agency for International Development in Russia. Why? Because they were funding the opposition, which means it's against democracy. This benefits everyone. The message, the closing of United States Agency for International Development, benefits all the authoritarian regimes in the world. That's not the case, not at all, because in Ukraine's case, an authoritarian regime actually took place. Because these media outlets, which were funded by United States Agency for International Development, did not fulfill their functions. They were not an opposition to Zelensky. Catching someone for a criminal case like money theft isn't fighting an authoritarian regime. It's just pretending to oppose it. It's fake activity, a quasi-opposition, quasi-democracy, and basically fake everything. So don't fall for these primitive manipulations. These figures are making these claims because they also lost their share of the pie. It's not just this Ukrainian media circle, even serious American politicians were hooked on this. I published something about Lindsey Graham. What happened then? These war hawks who came and kept saying, come on, was simply making money off this war. I don't want to say it was always about money. Some got money, some benefited directly or indirectly. In short, it was profitable for them. And then I have one question. Just imagine, and this is for my audience, for the haters, for everyone. Now imagine if Kamala Harris had won. Let's model that situation. Something terrible happens. Trump doesn't win. I told you for 3 years he would, but it doesn't matter if Kamala or Biden wins. All of United States Agency for International Development keeps functioning. All these shady people keep getting funded. They keep brainwashing people, and they keep creating the illusion of intense activity. Here's the opposition. Here's freedom of speech. Here's democracy. But in reality, none of this exists. And why did I say earlier that they joined forces with the strong against the weak? And where in this scheme is the ordinary Ukrainian citizen, the person who just wants to live and work at home in Ukraine? Authorities there are cracking down, raising taxes, increasing financial monitoring, restricting money management, and men can't even leave their homes. The war is just assumed now. The territorial recruitment centers are out of control, acting like a real Gestapo. What should this person do? He just wants to hear another perspective and find the truth. On one side, there's the President's Office network, controlled media, bloggers, and all those figures. And on the other side, there are grant eaters, the United States Agency for International Development Fund. All this person can do is go on YouTube or Telegram to listen to something. I ask everyone to subscribe to me everywhere. There are very few people like me, maybe not even 10 of us. I would even say the fingers on one hand would be too many. This is what we've come to. Why am I making this video? Yesterday I wondered, what if Kamala had won it all? War hawks, let's keep going, let's have victory, but what is victory? No one says, and by what means no one says. And these grants keep getting siphoned off. And the second dirty trick, do you know why these media outlets, well, not the second dirty trick, but the 202nd? Why don't these grant-funded media outlets, including Soros-supported ones, report on lawlessness at territorial recruitment centers or human rights violations in Ukraine, or fulfill their democratic media role? Why don't they push for ending the war? In the end, it's because all of this benefits them. They don't want to anger the authorities or the territorial recruitment centers because they got exemptions. They don't have to go to the front. Look, honestly, what a great life. Some people were sent to the front, others left the country, and the security services have silenced everyone. The way has been cleared for two castes. As I already said, the president's office, their affiliates and grant eaters, and then there's this imitation of some kind of struggle, some kind of freedom of speech, some kind of democracy, opposition. None of that really exists. It's just some people formally, some informally. They join forces with the strong against the powerless. There's no competition at all. And the main thing they're afraid of is professional competition. Why? Why did they come after me? I'm not a journalist, not a blogger. Like I said before, I just started a channel. I'm just a person from a completely different field, from entrepreneurship, and I became their competition. Live stream views were 8, 9, 10, even 12,000 per video. They can't achieve those results even with their big teams. Of course, I'm their enemy. Like, what are you doing getting into our field? But I'm not even claiming a piece of their pie, and they can't handle their own slice. You see, their narrow-mindedness and insignificance are such that they can't even understand that. So what should we do? Unite against this. Why? The cover shows Trump and Musk as doctors holding a syringe. They're saving the world. They're saving common sense. Right now, unfortunately, the whole society is getting a vaccine at such a terrible cost in every sense. And this den, this nest full of rattlesnakes is being cleaned out by Trump and Musk. Why was I supporting them? I told you, it's not about the United States of America. Now it's a matter of civilization, a question of values, which way the pendulum will swing, which direction it will go in the whole world. And fools didn't believe me. Only 2 weeks have passed, and Trump is still in office. And it has already directly affected even Ukraine. This is actually good for us. It's improving the processes in Ukraine. There's hope that everything in Ukraine can be put in order again, a fresh start, and to live properly without all these Soros people, without grant eaters, without all of that. A normal, healthy process based on real values. Well, that's what I want. I'm not saying that's how it will be. America was built on values established by the Founding Fathers, which guarantee results and success, unlike the grant eaters, United States Agency for International Development Soros, or the European Union. Trust me, it's nonsense. Later you'll regret it, asking, why did we do that? But time goes on, no one is getting younger, and they've already stolen this time from us. Think about it. Share this video with your friends who are still mistaken, who think this is good. It's not good. Everything that was good is being done now, and a foundation for a normal future is being created. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. There's still much to discuss.